Breaking news. Iran-Israel conflict escalates. The Middle East is on the brink of total annihilation as Iran and Israel launch unprecedented attacks, leaving cities in flames and thousands dead. Tehran and Jerusalem. March 5, 2026. The Iran-Israel conflict has erupted into a full-scale confrontation, marking one of the deadliest escalations in decades. Coordinated airstrikes by U.S. and Israeli forces have targeted Iranian military bases, missile installations, and strategic command centers across Tehran, causing massive destruction and civilian casualties. Early strikes and Iranian retaliation. Reports indicate that Iran's supreme leader and several top military commanders were reportedly killed in early strikes. This unprecedented blow triggered a swift retaliatory campaign by Iran. Ballistic missiles and drone attacks were launched at Israeli cities, U.S. military bases in the Gulf, and allied territories, including Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. Eyewitnesses in Tehran describe chaotic streets, burning buildings, and panicked civilians trying to flee the city. Hospitals are overwhelmed with the wounded, while emergency services struggle to reach the most affected areas. Meanwhile, in Israel, citizens in Tel Aviv and northern cities are taking cover in underground shelters as sirens warn of incoming missiles. Hezbollah joins the conflict. In Lebanon, Hezbollah has fired dozens of rockets into northern Israel, prompting Israel to extend military operations into southern Lebanon. Analysts warn this may lead to a broader regional confrontation, drawing neighboring countries into the conflict. Humanitarian crisis. The humanitarian toll is staggering. Over 1,000 civilians are reported dead, including many children and women. Millions have been displaced, fleeing war zones in Iran, Israel, and neighboring countries. Schools, hospitals, and residential areas have been damaged or destroyed, creating a dire need for emergency aid. International organizations are struggling to provide food, medical supplies, and shelter to displaced populations. Global economic impact. The conflict has disrupted strategic oil routes in the Persian Gulf, particularly the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most vital shipping lanes. Oil prices have surged globally, threatening economic instability in both developed and developing nations. Stock markets worldwide have reacted with sharp declines as investors fear further escalation. Military analysis. Military experts report that Israel and U.S. forces maintain near-total control over Iranian airspace, but Iran's missile and drone networks continue to strike with precision, targeting military installations and critical infrastructure. U.S. naval forces have engaged Iranian ships in the Persian Gulf, sinking at least one warship, marking a significant escalation in naval warfare. Analysts predict that both sides may intensify cyber warfare, targeting communications, energy grids, and financial systems, further amplifying the global impact. Political reactions. United States. President Donald Trump stated, "These operations are necessary to prevent future threats," signaling the potential for a prolonged conflict. The U.S. has deployed additional troops to the Gulf region to deter further escalation. Israel. Israeli officials have mobilized reservists and declared a state of emergency, emphasizing the need to protect civilians and prevent infiltration from Hezbollah. Iran. Tehran insists its strikes are defensive and vows continued resistance, emphasizing Iran's readiness to retaliate strategically. United Nations. UN officials have condemned attacks on civilians and called for immediate de-escalation. Humanitarian agencies warn that if the conflict continues, the region could face catastrophic loss of life. Global reactions. Russia denounces the U.S.-Israel operations as an unprovoked act of aggression, while several Gulf countries condemn Iranian missile attacks on their soil. The European Union urges diplomatic negotiations to prevent further escalation. Eyewitness accounts. Tehran resident. "We heard the explosions all night. Streets are burning. We are terrified for our children. Nothing is safe anymore." Tel Aviv resident. "Sirens never stop. We run to shelters every few hours. No one knows when the next missile will hit." Lebanon. Local officials report destruction in southern villages as Israeli strikes target suspected Hezbollah positions. Civilians are trapped, and rescue teams face severe risks. Strategic considerations. Experts believe Iran may continue asymmetric attacks, using drones, missiles, and proxy fighters across the region. Israel and U.S. forces, with superior technology, may strike deep into Iranian territory, further escalating the conflict. Analysts warn that miscalculations could lead to a full-scale regional war, involving neighboring countries and destabilizing global security. Global implications. Energy security. Oil supplies from the Gulf are threatened, impacting transportation, manufacturing, and global economies. Geopolitical alliances. Countries are forced to take sides, potentially reshaping alliances in the Middle East. Refugee crisis. Millions may flee conflict zones, increasing pressure on neighboring countries and international aid agencies. Financial markets. Stock and currency markets are already volatile, with investors fearing prolonged instability. Conclusion. The Iran-Israel war has now reached a critical stage, threatening to engulf the Middle East in widespread conflict. Civilians face unprecedented danger, and global powers are watching anxiously. With airstrikes, missile attacks, and proxy battles escalating daily, experts warn that the situation could deteriorate further, leaving the region on the edge of catastrophe. The world waits, hoping for a diplomatic resolution, yet preparing for the worst as the flames of war continue to spread.